Oh, testing. 有聲啦。Okay, so to the final video of our chapter 15 and chapter 16, in which this time we talk about the uses and limitations of national income statistics, namely GDP and GNP. Okay, 好啦, the uses, can I ask you to look at these 4 points by yourself? Okay, by the way, this is page 50, page 50 of your textbook. Okay. Can I ask you to look for the 4 points by yourself? Except point number 1. Point number 1. I think this is a little bit contradictory to what we are going to talk about in the next 2 pages. Okay? 我覺得有啲矛盾嘅。佢又話咧可以反映嘅 standard of living, right? And then on the next page, we are going to talk about when it can not reflect the standard of living. So this point, I do not suggest you to look at this point in detail. Okay, 有啲 contradictory. Okay, 好嘛 ？For the use， hello， 冇斷咗線啊。Okay, good. Now for the use, just look at it by yourself. What about the limitations? Yes, the limitations of the national income statistics. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. Okay, the first one, if you remember when we talk about nominal GDP, right? We remember how price level, there is an increase in price level would push up the nominal GDP, right? So here, it is focused solely on nominal GDP. Okay, if the price is pushed up, then nominal GDP may go up, but it does not necessarily means you are producing more. 只不過啲嘢貴咗啫嘛。Okay, so what is the solution? Solution is to use real GDP. Okay, is to use real GDP. The same here. Second point. Population size. Okay. In general, when your population increase, your nominal GDP would be higher as well. Can you think of a place very famous for that? Yes, I think you know, right? China is the case. 中國咪係咯，中國人口高嘛，係嘛？ So, so our nominal GDP is really high because our population is really high, right? But what about the per capita? 係咪？你個數大唔代表你嘅平均高啊，係嘛？ Your average, your per person may not be that high. So what is the solution? The solution is to use per capita GDP. OK， 好嘛？好，呢個唔講啦。Now, here. What about other points? Effect of income distribution. Now this one, if you remember in chapter 14, we learned something about income distribution, right? About Gini coefficient, right? 記住啦 even if the GDP goes up, GDP 高咗，代唔代表全部人有錢咗㗎？ The money may only go to some rich people. The poor people may still suffer, right? Versus another country may not be so rich, but evenly distributed. Okay, so this may not reflect the so-called standard of living， 係咪？所以有啲矛盾嘅，我覺得。好啦 ，another one, leisure time 係嘛？我哋成日都話啦 ，Hong Kong, relatively speaking, Hong Kong people earn relatively higher income than many places。香港人咧，普遍嚟講賺錢都高過好多地方嘅。But seems that Hong Kong people are not very happy. Why? What's the reason? 點解？香港工時長啊嘛，係嘛？冇休閒時間啊嘛，係嘛？ So the higher the leisure time, you may be happier, you may have a higher standard of living. OK， 好嘛？自己睇啦，唔講啦。嗱，反而呢個咧要解釋一下啦。OK, number 5, I need some time to explain. It says effect of composition of output. If you remember, C, I, G, N, X. The problem lies in here. If I tell you a country or an economy is experiencing a very large growth in GDP, sounds good, right? What if I tell you all of it was increase in government expenditure。政府係咁使錢咧，而唔係我哋人民做多個 production 咧。When does it happen? Let's say there is a war， 打仗咪係咯 ，right? Money goes to goes to weapons, goes to a lot of warfare。咁咪 government expenditure、government consumption expenditure 咪多咗好多咯。But is it a good indication of GDP during wartime? Definitely not. Okay, so we need to be very careful with the composition of output. If it is because of the government increasing government consumption expenditure, it may not be healthy for the economy, especially in wartime. Okay, 好嘛？好 ，then here unreported production activity 唔使解咁多啦，有個笑話成日講嘅。What about housework? Okay, what about housework? 係嘛？做家務有冇 production 啊 ？Yes, but it is unreported. Okay, so it's going to underestimate GDP. Okay, underestimate our actual production level. And finally, this will be the environmental quality. Or let's make it broader. 唔淨止環境啊 ，any externality. Okay, 原來有好多 externality 啊。好多效果 apart from money, there are other things that we should care about, right? A lot of externality, okay? A lot of externality, okay? 好嘛，自己睇啦，唔嘥你時間啦，你有眼，你有腦，自己識得做噶啦，好嘛？嗱 ，let's go to the final page, final 2 pages of our notes and finish the rest of our past paper questions, right? 嗱，佢話啦 ，here page 18 of your note. Page 18 of your notes, it says that country X has a higher GDP but a lower general living standard. 佢話唔係喎 ，GDP 高咗，點解我 living standard 會低咗啊 ？Okay, which of the following is a possible reason for that? And net factor income from abroad. Okay, 呢個唔關事啦，係咪 ？Net factor income, this is something to do with GNP. None of our business, right? 係咪 ？None of our business. 好，第二個啦 ，working hour in country Y are longer, right? 咪先 ？Okay, we are saying country Y has a higher standard than X, right? If I want a higher living standard, I think working hours should be shorter, right? Instead of longer. So not the answer we want. Okay. Capital goods make up a high proportion of the output of country Y. Okay. Now, boys, think about it. Capital goods. Does it have anything to do with consumer? No. 同 consumer 有冇關？如果同 consumer 冇關嘅話 ，nothing to do with consumer, right? So, are you going to be able to enjoy it? No. Okay, 好嘛 ？Therefore, if there is a high proportion of capital goods, it means that there are things that you cannot enjoy. Now, country Y has a higher living standard, right? Higher living standard. It means that they should have more consumer goods instead of capital goods. So C also not the answer we want. D, population size of country Y is smaller. If the population is smaller, it means that the per cap most likely would increase. Okay? 佢而家講明係 higher GDP 啊嘛，唔係 per cap GDP 啊嘛。Okay, so I think the answer is this one. Population size is smaller, so everyone has a higher per capita GDP. OK， 好嘛？好，下一條啦。constant market price， 記唔記得咩叫 constant market price 啊？ This is real GDP, which has already taken care of price level, taken care of. OK， 處理咗price level 嘅問題㗎啦 ，would not be a good indicator to compare the living standard when 好啦，頭先講咗啦 ，real GDP would it be affected by price level? No, price level remains unchanged under the calculation. Therefore, inflation rate not going to affect any of it. Answer 1 and 2. Population size, income distribution. OK， 好嘛？好啦，跟住啦 ，per capita real GDP 好啦，又嚟咯噃。Per cap, it has already taken care of the problem of population. Okay, so let's see which of the following would overstate, overestimate the living standard. Okay, 我哋望下啦，係咪？望下先。Okay, let's see. Does not reflect the improvement in quality and surface. Okay, 如果佢冇 reflect 到 what if it can reflect? So I think this one actually is understated. 係咪啊？佢反映唔到啊。So it should be better in real life, but I cannot reflect. Therefore, it is not overstating. It is understating it. Not the answer. Does not reflect uneven income distribution. Exactly. Does not reflect the undesirable effects of production, pollution. Exactly. Exclude the calculation of the goods and services not transacted in the market. Then this one should be understate. 係嘛? If you include these as well, in real life, it should be better. Not the answer we want. Okay, 好嘛? 好，嗱 let's see this one. Let's see this one. We are given year-on-year percentage change in nominal GDP and in government spending. Okay, now here you see, right? Nominal GDP increased by 5%, while government spending increased by 6%. Okay, in year 2. Well, based on the above information, which of the following statements are correct, right? The size of public sector in the economy increased in 2012. OK， 嗱呢個慢慢嚟啊。乜嘢係 public sector 咧 ？Basically, it is G divided by the whole of GDP. OK, public sector. OK， 我而家望望啦。Now, let's compare this one and this one. G is increasing faster than GDP. So what does that mean? It means that the whole ratio of G to GDP should have increased. So yes, the size of public sector should have increased. OK， 好啦，第二個啦。Both nominal GDP and the nominal government spending dropped in 2012. No, remember, this is larger than 0. This is also larger than 0. It is increasing. It is increasing. So no. 記住啊 growth rate 大過0就係上升啦。A drop in both real GDP and real government spending was possible in 2012. 係咪啊？ Let's see. Let's see. Real. How do we estimate real? Boys, how do we estimate real using nominal? The very important formula. Price level equals to price index equals to nominal divided by real times 100. Now we are given nominal increased by 5.5. Okay, is it possible this would decrease? 有冇可能呢個會跌啊? Yes, it is possible. If price level increase larger than 5.5%. 當 price level 升得太勁嘅時候 ，real 咪有機會跌咯。咩為之太勁啊 ？Let's say 20%. Let's say 20%. You only need to be larger than 6%. Okay, all you need to do is to be larger than 6% increase in price level in order for real to decrease. Okay, so yes, this is possible. Okay, answer 1 and 3. Okay, 好嘛 finally here you see a CE question shows the GDP, okay, of country A and country B. Here, be very careful. It says per capita real GDP. 即係咩意思啊 ？Explain why country A, explain whether country A must enjoy. Okay, answer should be no, right? There are a lot of answer you can copy from textbook, except 有兩個唔得啊。Since this is real GDP, therefore you cannot mention anything about price level. Because real GDP already taken care of price level. Also, per capita, you cannot, here, per capita, meaning you cannot mention anything about population because it has already taken care of the problem. Otherwise, all the other answers you can copy from your textbook. Okay, boys, you see, right? I spent so much time shooting 10 videos on GDP this chapter. This is one of the hardest chapter in your whole macroeconomics, okay? 好嗎？嗱, so please take some time to study GDP and do not underestimate the difficulty of GDP chapter. Okay, so boys, I will update you again in our WhatsApp group to see whether I can shoot chapter 17 and chapter 18 on time. Okay, until then, have a very nice holiday ahead of you. Okay, see you then. Bye-bye.